Hand-breaded chicken, creamy zesty fiery sauce, creamy zesty fiery sauce.
Hand-breaded chicken tenders with new fiery sauce at Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. Feed your happy.
Do you remember your first kiss?
It was a long kiss.
So I wouldn't say it was that long.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Middle Township Police Department and the Cape May County Office of Emergency Management. Due to failure of local telephone equipment, the 911 emergency telephone number is currently not in service. Calls made to 911 cannot be completed at this time. This outage is in effect for those living in the following areas: in Cape May County, Avalon, Dennis Township, Middle Township, Ocean City, Sea Isle City, Stone Harbor, Upper Township, and Woodbine. Please note that during this outage, emergency calls cannot be made by dialing 0, as dialing 0 and requesting emergency services will transfer you to 911 and will thus not go through. If you are in need of law enforcement, your local fire department or rescue services, please call the non-emergency number for your locality. This number can be found online at www.capemaycountynj.gov or on the inside front cover of your printed telephone directory. Please take the time to educate yourself of these numbers in advance. There is no time frame as to when 911 services will be restored. Repeating, 911 telephone requests are unable to be completed at this time due to localized equipment failure. 911 services are currently unavailable for the following areas: in Cape May County, Avalon, Dennis Township, Middle Township, Ocean City, Sea Isle City, Stone Harbor, Upper Township, and Woodbine. Emergency requests can be made by dialing your locality's non-emergency phone number. Dialing 0 will not connect you to emergency services. Non-emergency numbers can be found online at www.capemaycountynj.gov or on the inside front cover of your printed telephone directory. Please take the time to educate yourself of these numbers in advance. There is no time frame as to when 911 services will be restored.
It's here.
Radio 108 WFPC with Kristopher Christman live in the studio and some great 80s music right here on the radio. You know, I have to tell you something. I'm kind of surprised that last one was never released as a single. I really think it would have been another great hit for that band. You know what I'm talking about? Everyone, you're tuned into the Vinyl Countdown. I'm with you here every Wednesday night starting at 5 p.m. for 4 hours of the greatest hits of the 1980s right here on the voice of Frederick Farkas College, WFPC Radio 108. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 5:22, so that means it's time for a look at the weather. For the rest of tonight, we're going to have partly cloudy skies with scattered showers possible till midnight, lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow is going to be sunny and breezy with winds at about 15 miles per hour and a high in the upper 70s. Tomorrow night brings increasing cloudiness yet again to the area, with rain showers possible at times and temperatures hovering in the upper 60s. And then on your Friday, any rain will diminish by your morning commute. However, clouds will remain throughout the day with highs in the low 80s. Currently, right now in Middle Township, we have a partly cloudy sky condition with a temperature of 70 degrees. Atlantic City has 67, Wildwood 69. Next weather update in about 20 minutes right here on Radio 108. Also broadcasting online on your smart speaker of choice. Just ask them to play Radio 108 WFPC. Coming up next on the Vinyl Countdown, we've got 3 in a row for you right here on the voice of Frederick Farkas College. I'm Kristopher Christman, playing the best and the worst of the 1980s decade for your drive home.
Hundreds of meaningful gifts at prices you'll love. Only at Kay.
Microwave hot dogs, right, Dad? Eat up. I'm doing the cooking tonight. So pick up a KFC $20 fill-up today.
Fairlife is the milk that gives you more. It's ultra filtered for 50% more protein and 50% less sugar. So make the most of your morning with Fairlife ultra filtered milk. And try our coffee creamers from Fairlife.
Hi, this is Margaret, your Dell Technologies advisor.
To listen. Just pull up, check in online, and we'll quickly bring your food to you.
Thank you.
So you don't have to get out to get carry out. Like Denny here.
Hey, Hamlin. I like your PJs.
PJs? Huh? Stay in the driver's seat with Domino's Carside Delivery.
Oh, just one.
Jake from State Farm, that Maya markdown saved me so much on my...
mortgage and put those savings into the college fund? We have tips for that too. Or get a low-interest credit card for your long-awaited honeymoon? We can help you find the one. Credit card, that is. Discover and compare the smartest credit cards, mortgage lenders, and more on NerdWallet. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds.
Say you want to learn to do that thing. Big things, small things, anything, on anything, anywhere, anyhow, anywhen. Well, as long as when means now. Today is the day.
SC John.
Cash beats spending it unwisely every time, which is why you'll love this offer from America's Best. Buy 2 pairs of glasses.
Welcome to Verizon. For emergency police, fire, or ambulance service, press 9 now. To reach Verizon...
I just don't understand it, Sarah. All of these crazy alerts being broadcast. Obviously, there can't be an avalanche or a volcanic eruption in this area.
I know what you mean. Did you notice that all of the alerts are coming from Freddie Farkas College? I tell you, kids today just have no respect for technology.
Actually, I didn't notice the station that was doing this until just now. I wonder if the college even bothers teaching the students how the emergency alert system works. I bet they don't even know how serious it is to send out a false message. Or I guess in this case, the lack thereof?
I suppose so. Great, here we go again. Oh, this is a real pip. A nuclear power plant warning? The closest one used to be Oyster Creek, like 3 counties north of here, and that is the one getting decommissioned. I am about to call the college right now and find out what the heck is going on. Wait, did you hear that?
I sure did. That sounded like there was a struggle going on. Sarah, can you replay the audio part of that last alert?
Yeah, give me a second.
Oh my God. It sounded like the guy on the radio is asking for help and didn't know how else to do it without getting noticed. What do you think?
I think you're right. We better call the police and ask them to at least check up on the college. There could be something serious going on.
Good idea. Don't forget, the 911 system is down right now. We have to call the police department directly.
Damn, good thing you remembered, because I didn't even think of that. I'll call them right now. I just hope we aren't too late. I have to give that guy on the air credit. Thinking outside of the box.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Middle Township Police. With the exception of this current emergency alert, all previously transmitted alerts within the past half hour should be ignored. There are currently no severe thunderstorm, avalanche, volcano, blizzard, nuclear power plant, or boil water warnings currently in effect for the broadcast area. Only the present civil danger warning is currently in effect. Repeating, an armed individual is presently at the site of Frederick Farkas College in Middle Township, currently keeping students hostage. The Middle Township Police Department is asking all individuals to avoid the area of Stone Harbor Boulevard in Middle Township. The number of gunmen and hostages is presently unknown at this time. It is also unknown if any shots have been fired at this location. If you have family or a loved one at the college, do not make any attempts to get into contact with them. Do not call them or send them text messages, as this may trigger the armed individual. With the exception of this current emergency alert, all previously transmitted alerts within the past half hour should be ignored. There are currently no severe thunderstorm, avalanche, volcano, blizzard, nuclear power plant, or boil water warnings currently in effect for the broadcast area. Only the present civil danger warning is currently in effect. Please stay tuned to this station, or other participating emergency alert system television or radio stations, for the latest developments of this current situation.
Help. He helps find what his customers need, and that includes helping them.
So the situation as we currently have it, Kathy, is that we are live at the Freddie Farkas College in Middle Township, where an active hostage situation is currently ongoing. Now, according to reports from people that were able to escape, the main suspect did flash a firearm at one point, but it is not known exactly what kind of gun the perpetrator was carrying. There's about 35 people, that is 35 students of the college that are in the R4 building, which was recently completed just this current semester. Law enforcement is currently at each of the building's entrances. There's 4 of them and all of them are covered. The R4 building is used primarily for those that are going for broadcasting degrees, but can be accessed by all students at any time. The argument that started this situation was triggered when the perpetrator approached his girlfriend about their relationship, which angered the perpetrator to the point of holding her hostage. When other people inside noticed what was going on, the gunman ordered everyone to stay in the building and not to exit or use their cell phones, which is what brings us to where we are at this time.
David, were there any shots fired at the college? Would there be any indication that the gun could have potentially been a fake instead of an actual weapon?
Kathy, we can confirm that the gun is in fact real at this time, as there were 2 shots fired, but neither of them hit any of the hostages. According to one of the witnesses that was able to escape, one of them hit an elevator keypad when a student tried to enter the car, and the other one was a shot into the air, presumably to show the hostages that he was in fact armed with a gun and not afraid to fire it.
David, could you tell me if the identity of the perpetrator or his girlfriend has been made public yet? Is it even known at this point, or is that information still not available?
We are still trying to get the names of the gunman or his girlfriend, but at this time neither one of them have divulged that information. Obviously, the Middle Township Police Department is not giving up the names of any of the potential hostages, as it could possibly cause more harm. Which brings me to another thing that I want to repeat for those that may be just joining us. If you have a family member, friend, or other loved one that is supposed to be at Freddie Farkas College right now, as hard as it may be to do, Do not make any attempts to call or text them or anything like that. Any notification noises that their phones could make may very well trigger the perpetrator into firing the weapon at a student, and that is obviously something that we don't want to happen by any means. Back to you, Kathy.
Okay, David. We thank you for that information. That was WMGM TV Chopper reporter David Womble live on the scene of breaking news this hour. For those of you that are just tuning in, News Chopper 40 is currently live at the Frederick Farkas College in Middle Township, where there is an ongoing hostage situation going on between a supposed student of the school and over 35 other students in the R4 building. The perpetrator has been confirmed as armed and has fired 2 apparent warning shots, one into the air and the other at an elevator keypad, but none of the hostages have been hit. Naturally, the Middle Township Police Department is asking all persons to avoid the area at all costs while the situation continues. The video feed that is coming to us from our chopper shows that most of the area is cleared out. However, it is what is going on inside of the R4 building, which is the current grounds for alarm. For those that are not familiar with the college, the R4 building is to the left side of the screen. Joining us on the ground with some new details about the events of the last hour or so is Channel 40 reporter James Crenshaw, who is closer to the ongoing events at the R4 building. James, what updates do you have for us?
Well, Kathy, I had an opportunity just a few moments ago to speak with a young man by the name of Kristopher Christman, who is a broadcasting student here at Farkas College. He's aiming to become connected with news radio, and this evening's events have certainly given him some education that he wouldn't have gotten from a textbook. Now, Kristopher did not want to be seen or heard on camera as he is rather shaken up by what he witnessed today, which is totally understandable. But he did give us some insight on what happened. He was on the air when the first suspicions of danger happened just outside the campus radio station, which is also in the R4 building that is behind me. At about 5:20 this evening, Christman attempted to call 911 with his cell phone, but wasn't able to get through because of the number being out of order. He ultimately decided to take a chance by going on the air with a plea for help, but he didn't want to just go on the air and scream for help. It turns out that the campus radio station also airs locally by a closed-circuit connection throughout the campus, and that could have tipped off the perpetrator. So Chris made attempts to broadcast emergency alerts, since those do not air on the closed-circuit feed. However, he discovered that the broadcast board was not properly set up to handle emergency alert audio directly from a microphone, and had to think fast to rig the microphone correctly. Now some of our viewers out there may have noticed that programming on many television and radio stations were getting interrupted by emergency broadcasts. That signaled everything from a volcano eruption to nuclear meltdown, and it appears that Chris was the one responsible for these massive interruptions. It ended up paying off, however, as another local radio station heard the cries for help and contacted authorities, which brings us to where we are right now. Kathy?
James, did Kristopher happen to mention anything at all about what started the argument between the perpetrator and his girlfriend? Did he recognize either of them?
He did tell me, Kathy, that the gunman and him did take a few classes together in the past, but that they didn't really do all that much talking. He did say that he knows his name but has chosen to only release that information to authorities and not to any press. As far as the girlfriend is concerned, he never met the woman in question. However, he did say that the argument that happened between the two individuals started because of jealousy, with the gunman accusing his girlfriend of cheating on him with another man.
And going back to his accomplishments at the radio station studios, did Kristopher happen to say anything about the type of training that the radio station talents go through when they are brought head-on with a dangerous situation like this?
All that he said was that he tried to call 911 and that the calls were not going through. He told me that the students were never formally trained on how to properly use the emergency alert system equipment at the college, but stated that he plans to bring up the situation with the head of the department when everything settles down. But Kathy, another thing he did tell me was that at one point he noticed that his plea for help was answered. That had happened when he noticed an emergency alert being transmitted that was not initiated by him. At that point, he didn't want to take any chances for the gunman to hear what was happening. So even though the alerts typically don't get heard on the closed-circuit feed, he decided to unplug the equipment at the studio and as soon as the outside alert began, as a way to ensure that the perpetrator didn't hear it. So if you happen to be listening to the college's radio station, which incidentally is WFPC 107.9, or known as Radio 108. That is why the station went off and is still presently off the air.
James, I'm sorry, but we have to interrupt you to go back to our chopper reporter David Wombold. David, what updates do you have for us?
Kathy, we have just received word that the Middle Township Police Force is planning to go inside to try to apprehend the perpetrator. This could happen at any time, but it has been decided by the Middle Township Police Department that they would zero in on the subject to try to bring this standoff to a close. While we are still being sure to keep our distance from the situation, we are being told that some of the hostages have already been released using the rear exit of the building, with most of them now out of harm's way. We are now waiting to see if the remaining hostages are going to be let go before the police. The National Weather Service in Mount Holly, New Jersey has issued a severe thunderstorm watch for Atlantic County in southern New Jersey, Cape May County in southern New Jersey, Cumberland County in southern New Jersey, until 9:18 p.m. At 6:14 p.m., National Weather Service Doppler radar indicated a line of severe thunderstorms located along a line extending near routes 47 and 347 near Heislerville in Cumberland County, to near routes 47 and 55 near Port Elizabeth in Cumberland County. Moving east at 30 miles per hour. Hazard, 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Source, radar indicated. Impact. Expect damage to roofs, siding and trees. Heavy rain is associated with this storm. Locations impacted include Heislerville, Port Elizabeth, Rio Grande, Cape May, Atlantic City, Egg Harbor Township, Lower Township, Middle Township, Dennis, Mays Landing, Egg Harbor City, Sea Isle City, Stone Harbor, Avalon, and Whitesboro. This includes Garden State Parkway from mile marker 0 to mile marker 41, and Atlantic City Expressway from mile marker 24 to mile marker 0. Whenever possible, and as long as it does not cause greater harm, all COVID-19 precautions should be taken. Be careful when driving on roads that are prone to flooding. If you don't think you can make it across a flooded roadway, turn around, don't drown. Repeating. The National Weather Service in Mount Holly, New Jersey has issued a severe thunderstorm watch for Atlantic County in southern New Jersey, Cape May County in southern New Jersey, Cumberland County in southern New Jersey, until 9:18 p.m. At 6:14 p.m., National Weather Service Doppler radar indicated a line of severe thunderstorms located along a line extending near routes 47 and 347 near Heislerville in Cumberland County, to near routes 47 and 55 near Port Elizabeth in Cumberland County. Moving east at 30 miles per hour. Hazard, 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Source, radar indicated. Impact. Expect damage to roofs, siding and trees. Heavy rain is associated with this storm. Locations impacted include Heislerville, Port Elizabeth, Rio Grande, Cape May, Atlantic City, Egg Harbor Township, Lower Township, Middle Township, Dennis, Mays Landing, Egg Harbor City, Sea Isle City, Stone Harbor, Avalon, and Whitesboro. This includes Garden State Parkway from mile marker 0 to mile marker 41, and Atlantic City Expressway from mile marker 24 to mile marker 0. Whenever possible, and as long as it does not cause greater harm, all COVID-19 precautions should be taken. Be careful when driving on roads that are prone to flooding. If you don't think you can make it across a flooded roadway, turn around, don't drown. Stay tuned to NOAA Weather Radio, commercial radio and television stations, or internet sources for the latest information on this potentially dangerous situation.
Depression, unusual changes in mood, behavior, or thoughts of suicide. Antidepressants can increase these in children, teens, and young adults. Do not take with MAOIs. Tell your doctor about your medications, including migraine, psychiatric, and depression medications, to avoid a potentially life-threatening condition. Increased risk of bleeding and bruising may occur, especially if taken with NSAID pain relievers, aspirin, or blood thinners. Manic episodes or vision problems may occur in some people. May cause low sodium levels. Common side effects include nausea, constipation, and vomiting. Some reports of weight gain have been received since product approval.
Getting on with the day and the stockpile.
Ask your doctor about Trintellix. Financial help may be available.
From WMGM TV, this is News Center 40.
Good evening, South Jersey. Welcome to News Center 40 at 11. I'm Kathy Van Pelt. Tonight's top story, of course, comes to us from Middle Township, where earlier today an armed man held 35 students at the Frederick Farkas College hostage for just about an hour. It all started at about 5:20 this evening, when Farkas College student Nicholas Riker had an argument with his girlfriend, Debbie Sterling, in the R4 building on the campus. The argument had originally started due to Riker accusing Sterling of being unfaithful and took place at one of the hallways in the building. According to witnesses, after a small physical altercation, Riker pulled out a firearm and aimed it at Sterling. Another student tried to grab the gun from Riker's hand. However, at that point, the gunman took Sterling hostage, alongside of 34 other students in the hallway. Police were notified of the event thanks to a series of emergency alert tones that were transmitted by a student broadcaster in the radio booth on campus after attempts at calling 911 had failed. The messages would ultimately be heard by another radio station that was able to send law enforcement to the college. Eventually, the perpetrator would allow select students to leave the building after police had arrived at the scene, which also included the broadcasting student. After most of the hostages were set free, Middle Township police stormed into the R4 building of the college. After a brief shootout between police and Riker, the gunman was injured at the site of the school and transported by ambulance to a local hospital, where he is listed as being in serious condition. A Middle Township police officer was also grazed by gunfire from the perpetrator, but she has not been hospitalized. No other injuries occurred at the site. As the situation unfolded, News Center 40 reporter James Crenshaw was able to speak to the radio talent that was on the air at the time of the original altercation, Farkas College student Kristopher Christman. While he is not willing to go on camera at this time, he did share with us an audio recording of the situation as it unfolded for retransmission. We warn you ahead of time that this recording may not be suitable for all viewers.
Highs in the low 80s. Currently, right now in Middle Township, we have a partly cloudy sky condition with a temperature of 70 degrees. Atlantic City has 67, Wildwood 69. Next weather update in about 20 minutes right here on Radio 108. Also broadcasting online on your smart speaker of choice. Just ask them to play Radio 108 WFPC. Coming up next on the Vinyl Countdown, we've got 3 in a row for you right here on the voice of Frederick Farkas College. I'm Christopher Christman, playing the best and the worst of the 1980s decade for your drive home.
Shortly afterwards, Kristopher attempted to call 911 without any luck, however then took advantage of the radio station's emergency alerting systems to reach the outside and ask for help. Christman was unable to initially get live audio out to the public due to technical issues at the station. However, eventually, 2 radio producers at Equity Communications noticed the requests for help after multiple unusual transmissions occurred. The producers at Equity Communications notified the proper authorities, who sent the original law enforcement officers to the college to take control of the hostage situation, which ended with Riker being hospitalized, 1 officer grazed by gunfire, and no additional injuries. We at Channel 40 would also like to apologize for the sudden interruption in our coverage of this story this afternoon. Those that were watching our coverage suddenly had it interrupted by an activation of the emergency alert system. Unfortunately, after the alert was broadcast, which was initiated by the National Weather Service, a technical fault at the WMGM transmitter outside of Avalon caused the system to retain control of our transmissions and would not permit us to go back on the air live. The situation was rectified at approximately 7:45 this evening, in which all live coverage would have ceased by that point. We will have more on this story as additional information becomes available, either during this newscast or on News Center 40 a.m. tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock. In other news this evening, a fire broke out at the former site of the Four Seasons Diner in Rio Grande, which has fire marshals considering doing a modification of current fire regulations. According to reports, the fire company had originally